Hello my beautiful goddesses, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Olga Nelson, known as Polkiz, and today I want to talk about a topic that is very deep to my heart, something that I've been going through the past year so deeply. So it's like part of my journey that I want to be vulnerable and open about, and this is the reason why I've been really taking some time off. I paused all my coaching programs, and I stopped doing like more courses or more in-person events. I had to cancel some events I was invited to and kind of like start going inwards and take some time off. And finally, after a year, after taking a long time for myself, healing, going inside, really figuring out what's good for me and where I wanted to move forward, I can finally speak about this. And today we're talking about grief. If you recently lost someone, or you know someone that is going through grief, please share this video with them, or just like sit with me and let's talk about grief and what are some of the things and lessons I learned going through grief therapy. Grief Share, this is the group I joined to heal grief, and I want to share some of the lessons I learned here, because these really helped me move forward in my life, see grief as a blessing and as a master that came here to teach me about life and death and how to be more appreciative for my life. So if this is something that you might like, please like the video and share it. So if you recently lost someone, I am so sorry. My heart is with you. I can empathize with what you're going through, although I might not feel your pain because everybody experiences grief differently. I am with you, and I can, I can feel your heart and just be here to support you too, although it's just from a video. We might not know each other, but I hope that this video helps you and brings you some hope and some comfort. One of the biggest lessons I learned, and they're not in order, all of them are important. There is actually many, but we'll see how many we can cover in this video. One of the main important ones that I learned in this Grief Share program, 13-week program, and going through my own healing experience, it's that you cannot go around grief, above, under, on the other side, or across. You have to go across grief, which means that you have to heal it. You have to face it. You have to experience it, because many people tend to hide the pain, sweep it under the rug, hide it. They get busy with life. They take on more projects. They start taking new habits or bad habits, and they don't process the pain. And what this happens is that the pain will come out later. It might not come next year. It might not come in the 5 years. But let's say that you lost your mother 15 years ago and now you became a mom. The grief that you haven't processed, all the pain that you haven't experienced and learned to heal, it will come back then. So I encourage everybody that has lost a special person in their lives, someone close, to please seek for help. I will leave the link of this group. It's free. All you have to pay is for the book, and it's a 13-week group where you sit with the group. There is a teacher. We watch videos. We have a journal to process our grief, and it gave me so much healing and so much perspective. So if you're wondering why I'm doing this video, it's because exactly a year ago on July 4th, I lost my nephew. He was 13 years old, and he passed in the hospital. He had like a heart failure. I was so blessed to be in his life for 13 years. I had the beautiful opportunity to be present in his upbringing, and I was part of, raising him, and love that I had the chance to experience his life. So although it wasn't just a nephew, it was like a little brother or almost a son to me, because I was there since the day that he was born. I lived in my sister's house for 10 years, so I was part of their family. So that's why this really affected me, and also because he was a child. He was 13 years old, and there is something about kids dying that it breaks my heart. And if that was not enough, that was in July. In December, I had a miscarriage. So after, losing him, I thought I was processing my grief properly, and I wanted to have our second baby. And I'm like, hey, let's do this. I want life. I want this. And unfortunately, we ended up having our second miscarriage in around Christmas time. So I made a video about that. If you're someone going through miscarriage grief, or something similar in your fertility journey, I'll leave the video linked below so you can watch it, and I share my whole experience there. Finally, I can share my fertility and grief experience and miscarriage experience after 4.5 years. I can finally open up, and I feel that doing this video is part of me healing, and it's part of me putting this behind so I can move forward with my new life, and I can go back to doing what I love, which is Polkiz, and talking about all the topics that maybe if you follow me, you can know what I love to talk about. So that was lesson number 1. We have to go through grief. We have to go through it. There is no escape. Many people try to avoid it, and they're like, oh, okay, they died, I don't feel anything, but then it will always come back if there is unprocessed emotions and unprocessed pain that we haven't get out. Number 2 is that God uses suffering and pain for good. Have you heard the saying, like, after every bad thing, something good comes out? It is true. And it's not that God in the Creator is punishing us. It's just that we experience a period of darkness. And I learned this through grief from a faith-based background, but I also, going through the grief, I also started learning about Kabbalah, and they also explain the same thing, the same concept, just in different wording. They say here that God uses suffering for good because God wants to expand us. God wants to give us the best. And in Kabbalah teachings, they say the same thing by you're going to experience period of darkness and suffering and pain and loss, but it's because your vessel, we can't handle all the light that wants to come in, all the light that God wants to give us, that the Creator wants to give to us. Therefore, we experience this temporary period of darkness where we feel like we're contracting, but this is actually expanding us and making us into bigger vessels to experience life. So this is something that I stand by, because every time I lost, even in my first miscarriage, I experienced darkness, I experienced loss and grief. But then after it came my daughter, it came the rainbow, right? After the storms, the rainbow comes out, and it was Maya. It was my beautiful daughter. And after my nephew, a year later, I can start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I can start seeing why this happens. And maybe I'm not gonna totally understand it, but there is a bigger purpose of pain and suffering. So that was a lesson that I really liked, because it gave me more perspective and more positive outcome out of this situation, that I know that after this storm, if I do my due diligence, if I heal, if I move forward, if I open my heart, if I accept this challenge, instead of complaining, instead of like taking it as a victim, then I can expand and therefore experience more light. Number 3, the lesson that I learned in grief is that the grief taught me is that we don't have the control. Many times we feel that we have the control in life. We want to control the outcome. We want to control each experience. We want to control our kids or spouse or, our business and our income. And at the end of the day, we forget that we don't have the control. We're just playing something here. And yes, don't get me wrong, we are the co-creators. Therefore, we have control of choosing experiences, of choosing something for our lives, making better choices. You can do the steps to make that better choice, but at the outcome, that's where we don't have the control. We can do the best, the absolute best or maximum effort in making everything beautiful. By the end of the day, something is gonna happen. A loss is gonna happen. I love that. I don't want to control in life. I came here to experience, to expand, and not to control. So I learned to surrender a lot through all my griefs, my 2 miscarriages, my nephew's loss, and all of these 4 years have been very expansive, that I had no idea grief was being a big master, a big teacher in my experience. That's why I wanted to share these. So we don't have the control in life. Life is gonna life. Life is going to continue life, and life is going to happen, and loss is going to occur even if we don't want it. So that was a big lesson that let me give me more ease. Hey, I don't have to control everything, and that's okay. Number 4. So I also learned that you can't go through this alone. Grief is something that you can't go through it alone. It's okay to ask for help, you actually should ask for help from your close friends or for family, or if they're going through it too. Like, there is also help through Grief Share that you can go and seek for help for people that are not going to judge you. They're going to support you, but you have to be humble enough to ask for help. This is where ego has to be out the door, because going through grief is really gonna make you close down, and that's something that I went through. I really did not want anybody close to me. I felt resentful towards almost everyone because they couldn't understand my pain. But that's not a good time for you to not ask for help. That's why I knew my husband couldn't help me, although he's been amazing supporting. But there is things that I needed to express with some experts, and that's where Grief Share came, because they were there for me explaining. In this book, the videos, everything gave me a different perspective. Instead of me being resentful towards my friends, my husband, my daughter, the people that just don't, I feel that don't get it, although they're doing their best too. Be humble enough to ask for help, and it's okay. You're not broken if you ask for help. So it's okay. Don't isolate yourself, although I really wanted to isolate myself. And if you isolate yourself, that's gonna make you get stuck in grief. You feel this resentment towards life, towards people, because something was taken away, someone was taken away that you really loved. So asking for help, talking to people that are going through the same thing really helps to put everything into perspective. So if you need more information about Grief Share, as I say, I will leave the link below so you can find a support group near you. Number five, another lesson that I learned is that not everybody is going to understand your pain, and it's not their fault. Unless they truly, out of, like, they really don't want to deal with you because you're in misery and you're in pain, then that's not your people. But grief will really show you who is there for you, who is the true friend, who truly wants to be there for you, and who truly supports you. Because when you're in pain, when you're in a low in your life, right? When you're in pain, when you're in grief, and if people don't want to talk to you because now you are not useful for them, then it's actually a blessing. Grief and pain will clean you from all those people that don't want to near you because you're in pain and they don't know what to say. But also, other thing that I learned is that even if people love you, they just don't know what to say to your pain. Sometimes this makes you feel very resentful to our friends and family that just don't get it, because maybe they haven't experienced a close loss in their life yet, so they can't relate. That's why you need to look for people or groups where they're going through the same thing so they can help you heal, so you don't feel isolated. But grief showed me a lot of relationships and friendships. I thought that we were friends, but the moment that I show some I distanced myself and I stopped being useful for them, and I went into my pain like I was not useful anymore, so therefore I'm not gonna talk to you. And then I noticed other friends that they wanted to be there for me, it's just that they didn't know how to show support. So when you're going through grief, I learned that you need to let people know what you feel. And if you want to be distant, then tell them, hey, I will be distant for the next couple of weeks, I just hope you understand. Or you can write a letter to your spouse, your friends, your family, like, hey, tell them exactly how you feel, because people won't understand when you're going through grief. You're gonna start acting different, you're gonna be in your pain, you want to sorrow in your pain, and people don't know this new you. So you kind of have to explain, let them know how can they support you, because although they want to show support, maybe it's not the way that you need support right now, or that you want to experience support. So it's okay to let them know, be clear, to conserve that relationship. But grief will also show you who was there just on your good times. And I love the grief cleansed all of that and just kept the friends and family that were there for me. They knew what to say, that wanted to support me, and that loved me even when I was in loss and in pain. Number 6, grief really is gonna get you closer to your faith. You consciously want to understand the why or how all of this life happens. But I really started going deeper into death. I really wanted to experience this, my first miscarriage. I started going more into the metaphysics. I started reading more like of these spiritual concepts of what happened to soul in soul contracts and the purpose of God, why this happens, why little kids have to die, why unborn babies have to leave even before coming into this world. And there is a bigger spiritual purpose, and the truth is that the soul never dies. Remember that we're energy, so we cannot die or be destroyed. It's just that we shift into different energies. So your soul, your essence is not death. What dies is just the physical body, just or vessel that passes away. So when I learned this truth, I can have more contact with my nephew, and actually he's been manifesting himself through dreams, through like little feathers when I go on walks, or I just feel like a warmth hug, and I know it's my nephew. I also know it's the soul of my babies that you know, they didn't come here, but they're around me. Because all of us are energies. The soul never dies. We will go into eternal life, and then we just incarnate in different shapes and forms and different planets and stuff. But the soul, the essence never dies, which is transform. And that perspective gave me so much peace and hope, because I can have connection with the souls that have passed without the vessel, without the limiting beliefs, without the consciousness that each human has. So also, my dad passed away when I was 9 months pregnant. So I had a lot of unprocessed grief, and I can connect to my dad without the physical vessel, without the physical consciousness that he had as that man. I can just connect to the energy of that father, the energy of my nephew, the energy of the babies. So it's a beautiful thing. So grief actually made me closer to God, brought me back to God. I actually renewed my baptism last August, so it was a year ago, and that was one of the best things I could do. And it's a beautiful thing having that connection to God and being more spiritual and seeing the spiritual side of every challenge and everything we go through. So number 7, I think it's number 7, we'll see, who cares, but grief teaches you what's important and what's not. After someone passed, and after you reassess your life, your values, what you're putting time into, everything will come into perspective that life is short. This physical life, at least in this lifetime, in this vessel, is short. And what am I doing with my life? Am I just gonna die one day and not experience the full potential I came here to be? What am I doing? So life teaches you what's important, your family. All the grief that I've been through taught me that the most important thing is God, my spirituality, my connection with God, my family, my marriage, my daughter, and the things that my passions, the things that I like to do, the businesses with my husband, Polkiz. Like, I know what I want, and it took me years to find it out. That's why I've been trying different businesses, different things, but there is always one thing that I always liked, and you have to pursue that. You have to continue that, but grief will eliminate, as I mentioned before, the friends, the people that maybe they were not serving you, they just wanted to be there in good times. And also it will put everything into perspective. If I was to die today, can I die happy knowing that I accomplished and did every single thing that I did? And if I ask myself that question today, is yes. If I die today, I can die super happy knowing that I gave the best in my marriage, in my house, in my home, with my daughter. I did the best I could here in Polkiz. I did the best in my relationship with my mom, my sisters. And I went to travel, I studied, I made the money, I learned everything I wanted to do, I ate what I wanted, I tried, I lived to the full potential, so yes, I can live happy. So when you live from that perspective, you're gonna make sure that you only focus on what's important. And that's another big lesson that grief left me. You only focus after a loss on what's important. Your health. Is your health the most important thing? Your family, your marriage? It will put everything into perspective. Number 8, a lot of the behaviors that we think we're using grief as a kind of like as a mask, and we have to be aware of the bad habits we're taking. One of the bad habits I started doing was I stopped my workouts after my nephew passed away. I was so like dancing every day, doing my heavy weight lifting, my workouts, and after the baby passed and then I got pregnant, lost my baby, I kind of like slowed down on the workouts. And that's a habit. I'm very aware I stop, and then slowly I've been going back and doing what I can do, what my body can handle, going back from day one. But you have to have awareness and consciousness. Is grief giving me bad habits, and I'm dwelling in pain and using grief as an excuse? Because many people can start drinking and say, hey, I'm in grief, I am allowed to be in pain, or start hurting yourself or getting isolated, and you start saying, I'm going through my grief. Yes, there is healthy and unhealthy ways to go through grief. A healthy way for you to go through grief is getting back to closer to God, seeking for help, joining a group or joining a community, or talking to a friend, a therapist about your grief process and how can you process your pain and grief in a healthy way. Maybe it's not doing a full workout, but maybe it's just sitting outside in the sun, or maybe it's going for a small walk, or maybe it's just talking about it. I feel that after a year I can finally open up here and share it, and this is kind of like a big milestone for me that I'm able to share it, right? First, I like to embody it. I learned all of these things. I've been doing them for a year, and I can finally like share and give back. I don't like to share when I'm doing something. I like to embody it first and teach from my embodiment, because otherwise it's just repetition, right? Like you learn something and then you don't embody it. I love embodying it, feeling it, trying it out, and then I can finally share my experience. So see where you're using grief as an excuse to isolate, to not talk to people, to not seek for help, to not eat healthy, or abuse your body through drugs, alcohol, or on other substances. So you have to know in what are you using grief as your excuse. Another lesson that I learned is that joy and pain can coexist. This is a very interesting topic because nobody can take your pain away, okay? Like you lost someone special, you're going through a loss, and therefore you're gonna feel pain, you're gonna feel sorry, you're gonna feel sad, and that's 100% normal. Actually, you need to feel it, you need experiencing it, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a good day. Just because you're going through grief doesn't mean that you don't get to enjoy a beautiful thing you have going on in your life, or success that you have in your life. Or in my case, just because I had 2 miscarriages and the loss of my nephew doesn't mean that I can feel joy being with my daughter, being with my husband, getting ready, listening to some music. At the end of the day, the souls that transcended, they want to see you happy. It's okay to process, to cry, to process your emotions, but it's not okay to stay there and block and numb yourself from happiness, from joy, because we're here to experience the whole rainbow of emotions. So that's something that liberated me when they taught us that joy and pain can coexist, because I was feeling guilty of like getting ready and feeling happiness. I'm like, I just lost a baby. Am I supposed to be out? Am I supposed to feel sexy again? And the truth is, yes, you can, because life can happen all at once. You can feel sorrow a moment, but then joy the next moment. It's like motherhood. You feel anxious one moment, but then you're happy, but then you cry. It's a rainbow of emotions, and that's the beauty of being a human. We came here to experience it all. So yes, if you're going through grief, it's okay to have fun. It's okay to move forward with your life when you are processing your grief properly, when you're actually giving some time. Cry if you have to, but then if you go out and eat with your friends and you feel happy, give yourself permission to enjoy too. And this lesson was very liberating because I started feeling joy. And another lesson is that your joy will get back. Okay, after a year going through grief, I can say that I can finally feel my spark. I can finally feel my full essence coming back, and I'm loving it. I love it so much. It will come back. Yes, it takes time. You're done 100% healing this planet. I know a lot of people like to continue healing, and using healing as an excuse. But if we will be healed, we will be angels. Don't you think? We will be another dimensional beings, not here experiencing lack, experiencing pain, and experiencing joy, and experiencing abundance at the same time. Your joy will be back. It will get back. Trust me, it might take some time, but if you learn to process your grief properly, you ask for help, things are gonna be better. Trust me on these. And one last thing I want to say that grief taught me is to pause. It's okay to take time to heal, but it's not okay to disappear. It's not okay to forget yourself and let yourself go in a rabbit hole. It's okay to take some time off, but then come back stronger after you took that time to heal. I took a full year of healing, and then after my miscarriage, it's been 8 months, and I finally can say I'm out of that box. I'm not gonna dwell in the grief. I'm not gonna dwell there. And this video is a representation of me being reborn and being out here with a new purpose. My soul got more aligned to what I really want to do. So it's okay to slow down. It's okay to take some time off. It's not okay to stay there, okay? Stay there and dwell in there. So surround yourself with good people, your good friends that love you and want to show support for you. Surround yourself with the people that love you, your family. And do things that you love doing. Do things that you love to do with those people with those who passed. I remember that in 4th of July, my nephew passed on 4th of July, and every 4th of July moving forward, all the fireworks are in his name. I'm like, hey, he loved fireworks. This is gonna be for you. Also, I finally could watch like the movie Coco. You know the movie Coco, when the grandma Coco, and there is this song called Remember Me. And I remember the first time that played on the TV, my daughter and my husband were watching it. I couldn't watch it. I ran away, and I just couldn't, because that song is the song that we walk my nephew to his grave, and I was not ready to listen to that yet. I watched a piece the other day because I know he loved that movie, and I was able to watch it from my heart, and it felt good. So start doing things that you love doing with a person that is not here anymore, to honor their memory. I know many times you want to like not share about it or not talk about it with your friends because it's uncomfortable to only talk about your grief or only talk about the persons that you have lost, and it can make your friends feel uncomfortable. But just because they can't hold the space for you doesn't mean you have to stop. I bring up my nephew, and I don't care if people feel uncomfortable. Well, they better stop talking to me, because this is my journey, this is my truth. But I also know when to stop, and not just to dwell on it and be in my sorrow in it. I mention it to honor their life in existence in this planet. But just because they pass doesn't mean you get to forget them, right? So honor that, and it's okay to talk about them. And anyways, the people who love you and understand you will understand that it's important for you and that you also are going through your process. So thank you so much for watching this video, for listening to my journey, and I hope that this was helpful. I will link the link for a grief share group in the description box, so you can see if there is one near you. This is for United States only, I think, so it's free. You can go there. Sometimes you have to pay a small fee or pay for the book, but find a support group, find a support community, and let me know who did you lose and something that you like about them in the comments. So thank you for listening, and if you want to watch the video about my miscarriages and fertility journey, I will leave it in the description too. Bye, goddess. Love you.